Okay, so example 2, we're asked to find the perimeter of a polygon with the endpoints shown. So first off, I need to connect them and create the polygon, which is just a two-dimensional shape. Looks sort of like a rectangle, but it's definitely a parallelogram because the opposite sides are parallel to one another. And all we need to do if we want perimeter is to add up the lengths of the sides. So in example 1, we learned how to figure out the distance between points, which is the same thing as the length of this segment that connects the points. So the distance, you might want to make yourself a note, between points is the same thing as the length of the segment. This is super sloppy, so I'm very sorry. Between, B/W means between the points. So those directions mean the same thing. All right, so we're going to do Pythagorean theorem. I need to know how long is this longer length. So I'm going to say that this is 4 units across, 4 units up, and I've made a right triangle. So that length, I call this D1. D1 equals 4 squared plus 4 squared, and take the square root, which is the square root of 32, and that is almost 6. So 32 is 4 units away from 36. The lower perfect square would be 25, and so that is 6 units away. So this is, if we round to the nearest whole number, it's closer to 6. And so I'm going to do the same for this distance to see how long this is. So if I say that this D1, let's move it. If I say this is 6 units, then so is this opposite parallel, 6 units. And I'm going to do 1 squared plus 2 squared, and do that square root. And that's going to give me this length here. 1 squared plus 2 squared gives me the square root of 5. The square root of 5 is just a little bit more than 4. Excuse me. So it's about 2 units. And so these lengths are 2. Therefore, the perimeter is 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 6, 12, and 4 makes 16 units for our perimeter of that figure. And so we would get, we would do the area of the polygon by using its dimensions and substituting those side lengths in to find area. I'm not going to take you through all of that, but on this page, if I'm you, on my notebook paper, I would go ahead and say that the perimeter was about, what did I say? About 16 units. And then I would make some room somewhere to find the area and say what it is about in units squared. And then you're done.